you've all been waiting for, Untitled.mov. But where is Jambo? Why is the radio on the TV on the... Guys?
This is not the show.
That's not the show.
I mean, we can do...
We had it until like 2 seconds ago. There we go.
Do radio on the TV again.
Do I do it? Have either of you been on UOI? You have been on UOI. And
A few years
UOI
ago.
members?
I'm a URY member. I had to get membership so I could have access to the studio to film a YSTV
So if
thing.
I check right now to see if you've currently paid membership, it'll tell me that you... Okay.
Yeah.
I never paid membership. I just did... I did the odd little show with an old member called Connor Sanders, his late night show Exit Node.
So you did a show and you haven't paid for membership?
No, I didn't do the show. I was on his show. It was his show.
How many times were you on the show?
Maybe twice. I did other shows as well. I was on show with Mr. Alex Towles a few times.
And there's your third show without paying membership. I will send you an invoice for your back paid membership fees.
Fight me.
I am really tempted to send you the invoice.
I think I once offered to pay membership in the form of tidying up your server cabinet and actually rewiring
Well,
everything.
I opened up one of our cabinets the other day to... Well, no, because I think we have a bad Ethernet run. Sorry, this is getting completely off topic already. Yeah, I know we're live. Thanks. I know. Look, I'll get to the start of the show in a second. We're having a conversation here. Okay?
Guys, please just hold on for a minute, okay?
Just hold on. Pause. So, what was I saying? Yeah, I opened up the cabinet that's got all of our Ethernet runs in the studio from our Switch, right?
Yeah.
Because I thought we had a bad run. I think we have a bad run because we have PoE to one of the pies that does signage. In the studio.
Right, okay.
And it... Yeah, I know it is. I know how this works.
We've got loads of time. Keep going. Ignore them.
And the pipe just kept turning off after 10, 15 minutes. So I figured
It might be a PoE issue.
PoE issue. Bought a new splitter. Wasn't the splitter. So I thought maybe it's either the switch or it's the cable run. So I was going to swap it around with the other studio that did work at the switch. My God, the mess of wires in front of that switch.
I've got a proper cable tester and tracer it's for coax, but it has RJ45 connections. It can do PoE and ping tracing.
Yeah, but then I have to find the other end of the cable in the...
No, you don't. No, we just plug it in on the Pi end, and it will tell us basically what's going on. And also, it's got a wireless tracer unit on it, so we can find dodgy ends and connections. Trust me, that'd been useful.
That will probably be useful.
Right, should we start the
Hello,
show?
and welcome to Untitled.mov. Camera, just cut the show to there on the final copy. So, it's the 1st of March. Oh, I did update the date. Hello, welcome. Who am I joined with?
Hi.
You better introduce yourselves.
I'm Will Stirk. I've been on this show too many times now. I just keep rocking up, and they keep saying, "Hey, you want to be the show?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." That's me. Hi.
Hi, I'm Neve. I'm the current head of archives, and this is the tentative reason why we've dragged
Dragged an old man back on the sofa.
Will Stark
Forgot
back.
about that. My first committee role at YSTV back in late 2019, early 2020 was head of archives. I was the second person to hold that role after Joe Wharf.
Yeah,
I know
and
when I found out that
speaking
you
of
used to be head
Connor,
archives. Right this second is when I found out you used to be head of archives.
Yeah, and
I thought
speaking
it was
of
dragging you on 'cause you were old. Sorry.
speaking of the speaking of Connor Sanders, he held the committee position before I did.
Did he ever give you that handover?
No, which is why the wiki's in a bit of a state.
He's bored at the moment. He's genuinely looking for things to do. We could just task him with doing the wiki again. Like, if you message him and say, rewrite the wiki, he will do it because he's very bored.
Connor, if you're watching this, get on it. Get on.
Connor doesn't watch anything. Connor's with a few people. It doesn't have a TV license. He doesn't own a TV or watch anything. The TV license people came round to sound like, yeah, no, I legitimately don't own a TV.
Do you think Connor's watched more of YSTV than
I was round
than
it quite in
regular
Manchester
TV?
for a week, and because he has this little projector that he just keeps in like a cupboard, so I set it up because like we're gonna watch some stuff, and I remember we were just watching it, and I put a YSTV video on. And he goes, "Oh, I don't want to watch this." I'm like, "Oh, come on, it's YSTV." I think he has bad memories.
Maybe he's just like repressed his
Yeah.
memories away.
It's happy memories from URY. He loved this time.
It's because we're the best. We're the better one. Obviously. Should we get on with the show, given we only have 25 minutes left?
We could just have more time to that, but yeah, sure.
Yeah. So, first we have our open source project of the week, which this week is Companion. Will, you said you were going to talk about Companion. I don't know why I called you Will. Sturkey, you're going to talk about
That's
Companion.
fine. Either one's fine. I think you mentioned did Companion a couple of weeks ago, but I brought it up again because everyone uses it as your bog standard, your Stream Deck controller. A lot more use cases beyond that when you dive into it, as well as being an interface for a lot of different types of controllers. So contours, shuttle pro system, any X keys stuff. You get into the world of more advanced broadcast, you might see a few X keys controllers, which are very nice. But even just using it as an interface between different systems. So if you've got a system that can be accessed by Companion, it's a great way of bridging the gap between that and something else. So I've been using it to, because as I've mentioned last time I was on, been messing around with a lot of ATEM camera control stuff. I have not yet found the time to dive into Blackmagic's API because that's a nightmare. So I've been using Companion to extract data from an ATEM and then send it over the network via UDP because there's a nice plugin for Companion that allows for TCP and UDP commands. So it's not just a Stream Deck controller. Very nice little project.
Very nice. Very nice. So next up we have news next. Have you been keeping up with the news? I know you're more of a past, not the future thing, but like, Will, have you been keeping up with the news?
Saw a few little things this week, some more, nothing massively not that I've seen anyway, big technical stuff. I've seen a few interesting things. Elon Musk is suing OpenAI. I didn't know he was involved in the start of OpenAI.
Was he?
Yes, he was one of the original
this news
founders.
story broke like today, so I haven't had a chance to put it in the doc. So
Elon Musk was one of the original founders of OpenAI. And this whole pitch with it was that the develop, because Elon Musk is it's the whole development of AI for the betterment of humanity, not for profit making. And then he left at some point and disappeared. And now he's suing them because there's some contract that he had with them. And basically, he's claiming that the company was started, as I said, with the intention of not making profit or benefiting humanity, and the company is now making profit and apparently not benefiting humanity. Because could you justify that ChatGPT is benefiting humanity?
No.
Linus did a video on it a couple of weeks ago at a show, was demonstrating all the stuff they had AI integration, and the company had built a bicycle that had ChatGPT integration.
But that one. Okay, no, I'm sorry. But I also watched this video. But it actually was probably the best integration of ChatGPT I saw.
It had some cool features, which is like fitness tracking and that. But do you really need ChatGPT for that?
It's just a buzzword, really.
It is. I've been looking at buying a new laptop, and they now will advertise as having not CPUs, NPUs, neural processing units for, I think as Asus put it, enhanced AI workflow. Which really annoyed me because what does that mean?
What does that mean? Most AI is hosted in the cloud. What do you? Who is running an LLM on that? LLM.
Yeah, sound it out. Come on, big guy.
On their laptop. I'm sorry.
Have you played much with any of these?
I mean, as a biochemist, AlphaFold, which is the AI thing to generate protein structures.
Okay.
So that's been a big thing in sort of the protein structure generation community, because obviously in the old days you'd have to crystallize your protein to get an idea of what it looks like, whereas now you can just sort of whack it in AlphaFold and it will give you a structure that may or may not be accurate.
Right, so what means the AI does actually have a use case. We just needed to ask someone who actually understands, an actual scientist, someone studying biochem, someone who's actually educated.
That's the thing. AI has use cases in all of these kind of fields, right? In lots of scientific fields and all of that. But that's not where the brunt of the research is.
Yeah, no.
It's more than, hey, write this essay for me, or hey, make an image, which is...
Yeah, did any of you see the AI figures that were in a scientific paper?
Oh, they didn't, did they?
Yeah, they did, and it's absolute nonsense.
I keep seeing this.
It's like one of them was a rat, and the figures weren't even in actual English. And then the other one was very much just it was a thing of a cell, a cell but it was very much like if you'd studied for the test, but you can only remember like your only remember what the nice drawings looked like and not what the actual names were.
People keep using it for stupid things. I saw a company that was selling graphic tablets, like drawing tablet, like graphic tablets.
Oh,
Drawing on
no, they
computers.
weren't.
And they were in their marketing when using AI created images. I'm like, you are literally creating art with AI to sell a product that people use to make art. Like, come on, seriously?
I mean, this conversation
wasn't
just
good.
reminded me of another thing, AI-related thing in the news this week, which was the Willy Wonka experience in Glasgow.
Oh, no.
Which
Yeah, we
I'm
gotta
gonna
talk
put this
about
in the
that.
docs. We're gonna, but
Can we bring, is it possible to bring the image of the Oompa Loompa in the Meth Lab up? Is it possible to get, who controls this screen?
the other room. So yes.
Can we
give them about a
find
minute.
that image, please? You
I'll
know the one I'm on about.
Oh no! Whoops.
No, that was the White House.
That's not. The Count on Mob does not want to claim that the White House is a meth lab.
That is not why it's TV's official.
I know, but I know what. Look, switch it onto the end card then, so I'm not just doxing myself by. Fine.
But yeah, I think it was Vulture tracked down the woman in the photograph.
Did they Really?
Yeah, and
Oh my God.
she was doing an incredible job trying to make this a little bit better for the children.
Trying to hold that thing together. Because I'm sure people have seen the pictures of it, but like the marketing looked amazing. I also think did also look potentially AI created again.
Okay, swap back over.
What that wasn't? Yeah, this is. Oh no.
I feel so bad for them because I've heard stories from the actors and they fully did not.
Well, see, apparently the actors had been given scripts months in advance. Had been given these months and months to learn these really in-depth scripts, and the day before were told to completely scrap it and just go with it. So, I kind of believe because the event organisers, I believe, said that everything sort of fell apart last minute. So I suspect there hadn't been a solid. There'd been a lot of assumptions made, rather than things set in stone.
I've read some of the scripts they were given, the sort of AI-generated scripts they were given.
Oh, those are very much how not to write a script. Like
Yeah.
it has like the loads and loads of parentheses, and then it has like what the audience should be feeling, which is.
Because the audience are amazed by and it has like it's pretty much asking the actors to perform actual magic.
Yeah.
Wait, oh my God.
Like it's.
This is why you can be, as I said, it can be used for certain things. Even in that sense, it could be used as an assistance tool.
Yeah.
But trying to get it to do everything for us. So we were using it. I was using it with some friends the other day to try and write emails. And we thought of curiosity, well, let's give it an email that we've written that's quite formal and ask it to make it a bit more casual. And it was throwing words like, yeah, so that's how you do it, champ, and let's sazz that up a bit. And I was like, oh, this is god awful.
I've done it the opposite way. I've been like, try and make this sound more formal. I'm like, no, that's too formal. That's.
So I even tried using it to write code, and that's just.
I've tried to use it to write code, and it's very good at fixing issues, not because it actually gives you good code, but I go, this doesn't work, but I see what you're trying to do there, and that might actually work, so let me just rewrite what you're doing.
Good at giving suggestions.
Yes, it's very good at breaking writer's block, I've found for me, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it cannot write. I mean, GitHub Copilot is terrible, but
I've not tried it.
it's just not great.
I haven't. One I'm trying to try is the Adobe stuff in Photoshop. Heard good things about that.
I have, but it's also generative AI. It's just
If you can use it in the right way, I suppose, for picture enhancement, for adding details in.
yeah.
But take your own pictures, people, please.
Please take your own pictures. So let's hold on. Let me get back to the.
Yeah, let's
Get rid of. Hold on. How do I Windows? Right. Slideshow. Right. To the news that I've actually prepared beforehand.
Go on.
The White House has issued a government-mandated Rust rewrite to all C projects.
You serious?
No. Okay. Kind of.
I can hear them. Like, I don't follow. Who writes in Rust?
Kind of. The White House has issued a statement strongly urging all developers to both write any new code or projects in memory-safe languages, and to possibly rewrite important legacy code in memory-safe languages. notably not a memory safe language, is C.
Oh, so the
Rust is a memory safe language, which has led to the jokes of the government mandated Rust rewrite.
what is so? Is Python a memory safe language?
Python is a memory safe language.
There you hear that first. The American government says stop writing in C and write in Python.
No, that's not. Yeah, but also C Sharp's a memory safe language, and I'm not saying the right.
Oh.
So is JavaScript.
Is Scratch?
I don't.
Do you know what Scratch is?
I know what Scratch is. I got
That's the
distracted
thing
by
about it.
Whenever you just try to put on time, it doesn't all fit on the screen.
That was good.
Okay, so yeah, I think the list I saw I remember seeing in it was Go,
Okay.
JavaScript,
Right.
Rust,
All right.
Python, potentially Java. I don't remember.
Better be Java.
I love. I mean, I kind of
Java better be on the list. That'd be it. No more Minecraft.
No more Minecraft. I mean, the other Minecraft Bedrock is C Sharp.
Oh, it's C Sharp, isn't it?
Yeah. No way to prevent this as user for the only language. Yeah, it's still cut off.
So we got the T.
Oops.
Yeah, that's better.
Rust, Go, C Sharp, Java, Swift, Python, JavaScript are
It's
examples.
just more
of.
amusing that I get why, because it's like a security thing, but the fact that this message has come from the White House, it's the certified White House message.
Yeah.
Or
Or
is-
cybersecurity analysts at the White House, which is Dave from down the street who kind of knows about computers. Oh, apparently Bedrock Edition is C++, not C Sharp. So it is actually Bedrock Edition's going down too.
Yay! Stop playing Bedrock.
No more Minecraft. I put this next topic in, but I'm not sure. We're gonna have to dance around just a little bit because Nintendo Nintendo is suing Yuzu, the Nintendo Switch emulator.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's not surprising.
No.
As an emulator, because they're very much. It's like them and Sony follow the same mandate, which is don't touch anything of ours or we'll kill you.
Even if you legally can.
Yes.
Yeah. Which the issue I have with this, because I think they do have a leg to stand on with this case, because they're suing on the grounds that Yuzu is, I think, potentially distributing encryption keys for encrypting the game's files, which are property of Nintendo because they're firmware files.
Right,
Oop,
okay.
I've skipped a topic. But in the wording of the lawsuit, they also place pretty much a line that says emulators are a piracy device. Which I think what Nintendo really wants out of this case is to get that line into precedent in a...
Yeah, this is
case.
it, that they've just been waiting for them to kind of slip up.
Yeah, they're waiting for some judge to slip up and put something in a precedent, and then they can go after everyone else.
So buy a Switch. Buy a Switch.
Buy a Switch.
Buy a Switch.
Oh, OMG Glasshouse reference. Different Yuzu.
Oh, yeah, that's
Nintendo are not suing Yuzu Street Food.
That's the thing that happened. Were either of you there at
Yeah,
YTV? Oh,
yeah,
you were.
I was at
I
the,
was, well, for you or why, not
yeah.
for YSTV, but
I
thanks for
was
the invite, guys.
sat in the warehouse eating Doritos where you guys were all out having a lovely meal.
Yeah, the drinks were 50% off.
yeah, that was
And then they had happy hour
dangerous.
prices on top of that. 2 cocktails for £5.
You went to Glass House, you went drinking, but you didn't come back here and go live.
No, we went to Viva.
Missing the old rules.
Anyways, moving on.
All right, what's the next one?
Framework accidentally develops the world's first 180 watt USB-C charger. I was reading their tweet about this, and it was pretty much they just saw like a spec document, right, and thought, oh yeah, we'll develop one of those like in-house for like our laptops and stuff. Developed it and didn't realize how special it was until journalists started reaching out and asking for.
So they
asking to speak to them
legitimately
about-
did it 180 watts.
180 watt USB-C charger.
Do you have any more details on it? Like,
There it is.
well, that. I know the picture of it.
Hold on, give me 2 seconds. I believe it's GAN and also that big.
Do you know what voltage it runs at?
I will find out for you. I'm assuming.
Like 2 years of electronics is going to come in really useful here.
Yep.
Take a brief moment to pause, ladies and gentlemen, as Corey opens DuckDuckGo.
Enabling up to 36 volt 5 amp output.
Ah, okay, so that's reasonable. The other I was going to say is how much current they're shoving down, but that's nothing massively special. You can put 5-volt down a USB,
Yeah.
or 5 amp down a USB. So all they did was just change the numbers around, and people went, "Oh my god!"
Pretty much. But I think it's the highest wattage down one USB-C cable we've ever.
Yeah.
Big zappy, as Suntime says.
Well, it's. I'd much prefer if they'd created one that ran something like 5 volts was passing 20 amps down it. That'd be much more fun.
Maybe not. Oops. Anyways, we're moving on. Anyways, I would have preferred something, like 460 watt things instead of 180 watt output, if that makes sense. Like a little brick that has 4 USB-Cs that all do 3 USB-Cs that all do 60 watt. I can count.
So you want to create like quad USB?
Well, I just think being able to charge 3 things at 60 watt over one brick.
I mean, you could technically wire that. It's just going to be quite a large brick.
Well, it'll be the same size brick because that's not how watt it. I know that's not
No, that's not how it works.
Like I didn't do 2 years of electronics.
Someone's a media student.
Shut the fuck up.
Should we move on?
Should we move on? Yes. So the next point in the that I had written down is interview a guest, but I've already interviewed both of you in the past. So let's just.
Well, no, because I feel like I've done a lot of the talking. You've interviewed me.
Neve.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
I've forgotten the list of. Have you got a show and tell item with you?
No, I haven't.
No. Okay.
I should have brought one of the NASTA trophies that we've got in the gallery.
What's your favorite production? And given your archives, it could be any production ever.
I'm gonna go for a favorite production of mine. It was the first thing that I produced, and it was an absolute mess. And that was the Eurovision semi-final.
It was amazing. It's one of the best streams I've ever worked on. It was so much fun.
Obviously, I wasn't there.
Yeah. So me and Keone are massive Eurovision fans. So we decided. To do some streams for the semi-finals of Eurovision. It was the first live thing that we did in the studio after COVID. So we went live like 3 hours late, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah. And the guests hadn't listened to any of Eurovision.
I think quite a few of the presenters hadn't either.
Yeah, guests and presenters. There was the fact that we didn't tell them that they were live at one point. God. So there is a lovely clip that we used to promote the second one that was Milling just yelling, "You're on, by the way!"
Because this was literally right as we came back. So we had no comms. We had no in-studio comms. Back and forth. We were trying to use a party line that wasn't working. We didn't have functioning. We didn't have the fancy monitors and things that YSV now has. So I think our comms to presenters was a walkie-talkie that was on the floor down here.
Yes. And Keone, because of COVID rules, Keone was in another area of the studio.
Oh, yeah. I think he was in the back of the tech cupboard with the TV.
In Keone's cupboard.
Keone cupboard.
And for the second one, we had Matt the Ward Perkins through video link.
Yes.
However, we didn't have comms to get his video link into the studio, so it was just Kira vision mixing and also relaying whatever Matt was saying.
No one in the studio. Keone could hear Matt because Matt was on the monitor and stuff. Like Keone just had a big TV in the tech cupboard. You can still watch this on YSV's YouTube channel if you scroll back far enough. But Keone he couldn't hear Matt. So Matt did this entire talk about Eurovision or something on that lines. And Keone ended one of the greatest lines I've ever heard a stream was, "That was great, Matt. I heard none of it."
Also, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but since we do have... Yeah, I was about to ask you, is Ronnie not coming on at some point? I assumed you just sent him on when you... I thought I was... I didn't know he was. I thought he was going to be only at the start. Nobody told me.
So we did Eurovision. Why didn't we think of that at the time? We could just yelled at each other through the wall.
Yeah.
It would have been easier. Hello, Ronnie.
Nobody told me Ronnie was coming on halfway through. I thought he'd left or something. I was really.
No, I was
confused.
just in the gallery the entire time.
Why did you come on?
I assumed you were just doing the start with Neve and Sturkey.
Ladies and gentlemen, now you have the answer to the question. So why there was a third microphone just randomly sat on the sofa?
It's Chekhov's microphone.
Yeah, something was bound to happen at some point.
So, what's your favourite bodge? All of you.
Oh, good conversation to jump in on. I think just all of URY.
Fair. Neve?
I think the archive hour from chemistry, that was very poorly thought out, and we didn't actually know where the where all of the ports were, so that's why the vision mixer is very clearly on screen for all of it.
Oh, God.
Love it, but it was great, and we managed to honour the sort of first place that YSTV had a home by doing it from the chemistry department. So
Oh, I didn't know ISTV.
yeah, we started in the chemistry department basement. Then we moved over to physics. Then we've moved to this space. So
Which was Goodrick, I believe, initially
yeah,
at college, wasn't
yeah,
it?
this was good
Yeah,
which
this
is
would be
why
good,
which is why the room codes are GN. Yeah.
Yeah, and now it's just now we're just sort of in the basement of the maths department.
Yeah.
For now.
Don't breathe too heavily. There's asbestos in the walls.
For legal reasons, that's a joke. What was I going to say? Yeah, you guys came on to talk archives. I just wrote in my notes, let's chat archives. So I hope you guys brought more conversation topics in terms of ALD shit than I did.
Well, I want to, because I have a question.
Number one archive, here's Will Stirk pulled out of the archive drawer.
So as I mentioned earlier, I was the second person to hold the role. The role was initially created realistically so that an older member of YSTV, who at the time was sort of not really in the university, was kind of in the middle of switching courses. So they created a committee role just so they could sort of keep him on or keep him around, justify it. And that was the head of archives. Because don't know, YSTV has quite a sizable collection of VHSs and other old documents and random pieces of crap.
Which are currently in the Borthwick, being kept safe and not being in the corridor
that's what
Not
between
being
the.
stuck in the corridor and being looked after by people who know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
they're in lovely
Everybody's-
acid-free boxes now.
I was
Everybody's
about,
favourite Borthwick Institute, the Borthwick Institute.
I was about to ask where they were, because when I took the role, coming on from the original holder of the role, the archives are on a very rickety set of wooden shelves in the corridor between the studio and the control room. And they were just, and they'd been sat there for what? I think the oldest one we have was early 1980s?
No, there's things from
It's old, isn't it?
1970,
Ooh.
74.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like in reels, and I've actually confirmed that there is things on that people want to see.
What's
Yeah.
the oldest thing we have in UOI, Ronnie? Because we must have like old license documents or so.
We must do, sure we.
This is something I remember. I remember pulling out a set of meeting minutes from like the 1980s a couple months back.
We have
Oh.
a stack of
Yeah.
them,
I think there's still just.
I mean, you could probably go to the Borthwick and find, like cassette recordings of some of the very old shows.
Oh, that's what the oldest thing we have. We have a recording of the first show on UOI. That's what we.
Oh yeah, because that's how we know what the first song we played was,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
That's cool. I didn't know that.
The presenter died. And I think that's all we're going to talk about. That presenter.
Yeah, that's all we're going to mention about that presenter because, it was the 1960s and they were a BBC presenter.
Oh, okay. Lovely. The 60s BBC.
It wasn't Jimmy Savile.
It was not Jimmy Savile. Yeah, we should clear that up. Jimmy Savile did not present the first show on URY. No.
In
Oh,
fact, he has never
God,
broadcast
that
on
is
UOI,
a
as far as I'm
terrible
aware.
segue that I could do.
Do it.
Oh no.
Do
Speaking
it.
of-
Spill
Do
the
it.
tea.
Oh,
Yeah,
that.
Cameron says anyway.
Aaron says do it. So you've got to do
go
it
on,
now.
Neve. Do you want to tell this one?
So what you won't find on our website is a program called Jim Will Sodomize You, which was a spoof from the 90s. So this was broadcast out to to like
So
the
before
TVs
it
on
was known,
on campus, and before it was known, it was just a piss take of Jim will fix it. But it is very, very, very questionable. It's on YouTube if you know where to look.
That one aged like
Okay.
milk.
Yeah, okay,
if you know where to look.
We have 30 seconds, so I'm going to barrel through the rest of the show plan now, because I know they will cut us off at the end of that 30 seconds.
No, don't you do it.
That's Ronnie, that's Neve, that's Sturkey, that's me.
Got it.
In the past week, they built OB0. And next week, Varsity, UI AGM, Central Hall, 7 p.m. Monday. Please come. Goodbye, Twitter plug, YCV Tech. Fuck, I've lost it.
Also, the YSTV website videos are now
Oh,
working.
videos are back on the website. Goodbye.